Hello. Hello, hello, hello. It's Wednesday. How is everybody doing? Not happy with the results, but I'm still here. Still awake, still praying, and still happy about my decision to talk about it on my channel. Um I was in a weird sort of space when I this year has been sort of unusual for me. I was working at the pool where I swim as a lifeguard, and then when the when the teenagers were off for summer break, honestly, some of them are kind of annoying. A lot of them are really cool, really nice, and great kids to work with, but some of them were annoying. Hi, Elsa. And so I was going through deciding to quit my job, and I eventually did in June. And they also had said I needed to do something else to be certified when I hadn't even had my certification for a year. So that played into it. I wasn't having any time to write or any time to do my YouTube, and because of something going on with one of my children, I was in this constant um, I was having anxiety and depression because of those two things. I feel like not having time to write, like when you're not doing your it's like I was doing a good thing, working there, working at the pool, but it wasn't the best thing, and it wasn't fulfilling me. It wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And then I had this other thing going on that just was making me constantly, I was worried, fearful, and didn't know if I should do anything, if I should do something, what should I do, and all of that this year, which was last year also. I started the job in when did I start the job? October. Yeah. So it was a year in October I had the job. I quit at 9 months in June, and I was relieved that I quit, but I still was dealing with the other situation. And so it's coming out of all that, and then the election's coming upon us, and I just constantly felt like I need to speak up. I need to speak up. And since I was kind of stuck between two worlds. I have 1,000 friends on on Facebook now, really due to all my friends been on Facebook since 2008, I guess. I think it was 2008. So been on Facebook a while. Had all those friends in Georgia who are conservative, evangelical, Southern Baptist people, friends, on there from that. And then I got to 1,000 just from being active on there for a while, but then I wasn't. And then getting involved in the van life community, all of those friends, and many of which were on, many different friends. I have many different friends, and I'm not saying that all friends, not all megas are exactly alike. We shouldn't say, just like they shouldn't say we're all alike, we shouldn't say they're all alike, because they're all different. They're not all narcissists. Some are narcissists and mega. Those are really nasty, mean ones. Some are nice. Just like liberals are not the same. I'm straight, and I'm not. I just, I'm quietly unfriending now, and I just quietly blocked a friend from high school who I really haven't interacted with in forever. And she chose to comment after Trump won and sort of just I felt like she was just sort of rubbing it in my face, and she hadn't said anything before. And I just didn't answer back. It was, how are you feeling on election day? I didn't even know I posted that. So that was before everything went down. So, and then she posts on her page, this picture of all these women with different color hair, and just they all look the same, really, and rainbow colors, and crying, and it's just like, you're just, I mean, like, go away with your ugly. I unfriended her. We haven't like really talked. It's just like, oh, I know you from high school. I skipped school. I remember I skipped school with her one time, like way back in the like ninth grade or something. The pool's too much chemicals. Well, I wasn't always in the pool. It was very hot in there. And I remember when I started, it was around this time of the year, and the mice started coming in. And I'm like, I have experience with this. And what happened today, I could not go to Coda, you guys, because it has been snowing all day. Look at this. It's beautiful. Can you see that? And that's my jack-o'-lanterns on that table where the snow piled up. But it's so pretty, but I couldn't go to Coda because Coda is in the city a half an hour away. So, but anyways, we're regrouping, and I'm gonna be informed and involved in. Like when I was Republican, I honestly just wasn't really informed. I just listened to what my friends were saying and what the Christian right was saying, and I wasn't informed. So now I'm informed. I'm glad I canvassed. I'm glad that I did all I did, because otherwise, and it actually brought me out of the anxiety and depression, because I was still had it even after I quit my job. And then I went to California for the Switchfoot getaway, but I still was having all this anxiety. It was hard for me to go because I didn't even want to go. And stuff was going on in my family too. And I think it was kind of like I knew, as an empath, I knew something was going on. I didn't know exactly what. And I had anxiety about it. And so speaking up, it brought me out of it. I feel so much better, honestly, although, of course I'm sad now, but if I had not spoken up, if I had continued to be quiet, and if I hadn't canvassed or, been afraid to speak up, it is in the air of Pool House. Okay. I have to be in it for it to get in. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there were all these terrible, chemicals. Yeah, in the boiler room. And one time something like overflowed or whatever, and one of our managers, she put on this suit. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Elsa. So yeah, so if I hadn't have spoken up, I feel like I honestly would still be in my depression and anxiety. I feel like I would be. I feel like it brought me out of it. I'm like, it gave me something to do. I needed to get out of the house. I needed to go out and meet people. I had a good time canvassing. Something when I started this year is going back to Coda. I'm glad I did that. I'm going to a different church now, and I found out I'm going to a book study tomorrow, and I started reading this book, but I've had this book. I said, "What book are you guys doing?" And they're almost done. So, and she said, "We're doing a book about emotions, and it's called Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown." And I'm like, I have that book. And also at the church I'm going to now, they're doing a poetry day next Sunday. So I'm like, wow, that is so cool. So I'm going to send them a couple of my poems to do on Sunday. So that's exciting. So anyways, let me light my candle, my pumpkin candle. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now more than ever. And I'm really glad, I found so many great channels, and I'm going to keep watching those. And I feel like, I have a story to tell, kind of like, so one of them that I found is April Ajoy of the New Evangelicals. Let me share that link. So Red's followers are called Flames, and that's why I light the candle. So this is kind of where I fall now, is with the New Evangelicals. I need to get my computer keyboard fixed. And I need to delete stuff in my email and on my computer because I'm running out of space. So I have lots of stuff to do. I have lots of stuff to do. And yeah, I'm feeling good about like where I am now. Let me play you a song. And I said in my little salad video, when I was thinking about it, that if I have hypothesized that Trump could be the Antichrist, and now, like, although I know a lot about the Bible, there's still so many views on the tribulation and the end times and all that, because there's so many different interpretations of it. There's there's ones that believe you're raptured before all of it starts. There's ones that, there's pre-millennialist, post-millennialist, I had a pastor in the 90s that was talking about it. The Presbyterian, little tiny Presbyterian church we went to in Warner Robins, Georgia. He said, I'm a millennialist. I believe it's going to all pan out in the end. And that's the basic thing, that we're supposed to trust God. But anyways, the talk of the Antichrist, and now I find out, since I've been brave enough to come out and say it, because I was afraid to say that at first. I'm like, and then they do the Madison Square Garden thing, and they come out and say it. She is the Antichrist. It's unbelievable, the things that are happening and have happened, and it's just unbelievable. But no, she doesn't have the signs of that. He has the whole Christian base believing him, just like it says in the Bible that Christians will be deceived. And now, there's a lot of people, on Threads, they're talking about it. On TikTok, Christians are talking about it. So it's very interesting. And I mean, say what you want. You got to know that for the time being, I was concerned about how violent the MAGA people are. Some of them, not all of them, but the group of people the Proud Boys and all of those radical people that did January 6th. I was worried about the safety, so now for the short term, I feel like it's safer, but I don't feel like we're safer for the long term. And I'm very concerned about Ukraine and women, and my daughter in Texas. I pray for my children every day, and I will keep on, sometimes several times a day. But yeah, keep praying, people, keep praying. I will say a poem. Say a poem, The Haunting from the 7-Story Tree. If you're interested in a copy, I still need to order some, but you can PayPal, Venmo me, or Cash App me. I'm Redheaded Riding Hood on those. Any amount. Send me your snail mail address to this email, redheadedridinghood@gmail.com, and I will send you a signed copy of this book. Might take a while right now because I need to order more copies. But this is a poem from the 7-Story Tree. It's called The Haunting. I could just run away, try to live my way another day, but what would be the use? Wasted time, a wasted life? But then again, I could give it all to him and he transforms it. If I move to the left or to the right, you're halfway there, or perhaps not quite. I hear him all the time. I open my eyes and he lights up the sky. In a song, I see him. In a tree, he's there. What is this love he has for me? Wherever I go, to a movie or a show, there isn't a thought he doesn't know. He is the great I am, and yet he is my friend. It's too wonderful to comprehend. He'll always be there till the end. When we've been there 10,000 years, his voice will echo in my ears. Still his praises I will sing. Always and forever, he is my king. And speaking of kings, I had said, it brought to mind another Bible story. This is my old Bible from high school. But in it's First Kings, Second Kings, or First Chronicles and Second Chronicles. Some of them are repeated. The stories are repeated in those 4 books. Is the story of King Saul, where the people wanted a king, and they asked for a king, and they got an ungodly king, and that's why I feel like this so mirrors that story in the Bible. And because I was in that cult-like experience, it wasn't when Trump came on the scene, though. I was like, no, can't do that. So I never voted for him. I'm thankful I never voted for him. I'm not proud of the fact that I didn't vote at all in 2016, though. But I was in turmoil. My life was in turmoil in 2016. 2016 is the year I turned 50. My kids that were in Georgia still were, well, my younger son was at school, so he wasn't there. He had just gone back to the University of Georgia. But I had 4 kids in Georgia still at that time, and 3 of them weren't hardly talking to me because of things going on in my family and the separation and divorce pending. The divorce took 4.5 years. And on my 50th birthday, I went to the Georgia National Fair, which I often did, which was always around my birthday, but by myself. So it was kind of sad. For my 50th birthday, that was how I spent it, because my kids were treating me like crap. And I was just thinking just recently now how, the Bible doesn't say it's wrong to be angry. You know that? The Bible does not say that. It says, be angry and do not sin in the Psalms. And do not let the sun go down on your anger. But I found in my situations when I am being mistreated, whether it be by my ex-husband, by my children, being bullied by the YouTube bullies, in whatever situation I found myself, it was good for me to be angry. So I'm kind of sitting with that right now. I think I need to stay angry in order to do the things that I should do and keep standing up for what I believe in and what I feel is right. Because whenever I would get wishy-washy and like, there was the situation in my family again, and let me try and talk to him. Let me try and talk to my ex. And it was just like, no, that's not going to work. And that even, and I said this recently on here, I put up with the YouTube bullies crap for too long. For 2 years, they had a live stream up about me, and the other one had a video up about me, lying about me and trash talking me, and they got 500 and 600 views. And like, no, I should have stayed angry. I should have said the name. I was like, oh, let me not say the name. And I had quote unquote fake friends giving me the wrong advice. Oh, you should turn the other cheek, Ren. You should turn the other cheek. And I had just come back to God. And so I was, attempting to do the right thing again, Anger is a step up from depression. No, anger turned inward causes depression. Anger turned inward causes depression. When I'm suppressing the anger, that's when the depression comes on me. That's true. Conda Pierce is a Christian comedian who I unfollowed because she shared Danny Gokey's post supporting Trump, but she is a Christian comedian, and she's very funny, and I like what she says. And I read her book, Laughing in the Dark. So she's a Christian comedian, and she would go, she would say to her psychiatrist, quit saying I'm not angry. You're making me angry. Hi, Brenda. So I wouldn't say it like that. Anger is a step up from depression. No. Depression is anger, the anger turned inward, when you're suppressing it and you're holding it in and you're not expressing it, and you're trying to hold back your feelings. That's what's so great about this book that I found out. The book study at the church I'm going to now, they're doing a book study on this book by Brene Brown, The Atlas of the Heart, and it's about emotions. So yeah, no, being authentic, and that's what Brene Brown also. Thanks for coming in, Brenda. I appreciate you. I missed you on Monday. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for moderating. But yeah, the anger, the depression is the anger turned inward, and that was very much the thing with me. And like, do you guys ever seen the movie Fried Green Tomatoes? I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And Fannie Flagg in that movie is going, "We Southern women, we are not allowed to get angry." We need assertiveness training. But I love that movie, Fried Green Tomatoes. But yeah, it is connected. And also the fear and the anger is connected. The fear and the anger is connected. So, and I was just thinking about it just now too. I was like, okay, they won. I was like almost encouraged by these MAGAs, vile, angry tirades at me. The mean and nasty ones, the mean and vile ones, one of which was my friend, Linda from the YouTube community. But she got bullied by the same people I got bullied by, and that's why we were friends. But I knew she was MAGA, and we just didn't talk about it, We just, I'm nice. We just didn't talk about it. I didn't even tell her I disagreed with it. She didn't even know. That's why and then she came out and attacked me. But, did she say, well, you could get attacked by immigrants. You could get attacked by immigrants, Red, but my president will protect you. You'll be protected under my president. Did she say that? No. She said, you're not Christian. And I didn't even know. We never even talked about religion. She knew I talked about it on my channel. She didn't talk about it on her channel. I didn't even think she was Christian, and I said that on her TikTok, and she gets offended. And then she comes back at me with, "You're not a Christian if you're voting for Harris." And I'm just like, yeah. So did they say that? Did the guy that attacked me saying that Harris is going to send my baby girls home in body bags, did he say, "Oh, don't worry, your candidate's going to lose, so your daughters that are military, that's awesome. That's awesome that that's what most people would say. Thank them for their service." No, this vile, disgusting, angry, fearful, anger and fear are connected. And yeah, he comes at me with that instead of saying, "Well, you don't have to worry because Trump is gonna win and your babies will be safe." I'm not buying that. I'm hoping that my daughter, my middle daughter has already gotten out, and I'm hoping that my younger daughter will too. So, because I don't feel anything is safe now. It's scary. And I'm wondering how this mass deportation is going to go. Um, I've heard that said it's going to be very bad for the economy because the immigrants are very hard workers. And I'm wondering where these people are really, honestly. 1 million illegals? Do you know any? Like, does anybody know any of these illegal? Do you know any of them? I know that Linda is very vocal about her next door neighbor who she hates. She puts things on her YouTube about it, and they're from Mexico, I think. And she hates them. I think she's hoping they'll be deported, but they're not illegal. They're illegally here, you know. But yeah, I'm just praying, praying. But I've found and speaking again on anger. So one time we had a pastor and his son was associate pastor at the Baptist church I last went to in Warner Robins. And one day I went and the associate pastor, the son, was preaching on anger. And I did say, like, oh, okay, this is for me. I get angry. I do have a problem with that. Sometimes I get angry. And you know what he said? One of the things he said, and my ex would always be like, I have a real problem with anger. But, then next thing you know, he's mad at you. So he's kicking in the door, or he's punching a hole in the wall. Because his dad was an alcoholic, but he blamed. I have a real problem with it. Yeah, you do. He would be like, I have a problem with you. You can't get angry at me. He would always be angry that I'm angry with him. I'm not allowed to be angry with him. And he was covert, so he wouldn't get angry. He would get even. He would do something to get even, and passive aggressively get back at you. So, and then I went and listened to this sermon where he was talking about anger, and he said a lot of things like injustice. He's like, there are things, sometimes it's a sin for us not to be angry. And that's why I had to speak up, because there are things you are supposed to be angry about, like women bleeding out in parking lots because a doctor's afraid to get arrested. They can't do a DNC on them. This is stuff we should be angry about, a comedian saying at a Trump rally. And, and I will say the name, because that's the thing, again, that the bullies on YouTube didn't want me to say their name. And that's why I was quiet. And then they had their videos up lying about me for 2 freaking years and got 500 and 600 views off of bullshit about me. Yeah, I wondered that today too. I thought that today too. I mean, and I do have some concerns. I'm like, we're not supposed to be afraid. We're supposed to just pray. I think I'm going to start praying every day for all Trump's enemies, praying for Liz Cheney, who he said a firing squad should be not just, this is how hateful he is, at her face. 9 rifles pointing. How can you elect such a hateful man? And Kamala was there saying they'll have a seat at the table. I will give those on the other side a seat at my table, a place in my cabinet. And he's saying he wants them shot. He wants to turn the military on his enemies. It's frightful. It's frightful. And I will keep speaking up. And I'm thankful for all these big channels that are continuing on. They're having people, but people, some liberals are just like, I'm giving up. Like, I'm leaving the country. They're even, Luke Beasley and the Midas Network is saying people are unsubscribing. And we can't. Yeah, that would be murder. Duh. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Keep praying, y'all. Keep standing up for what's right. And, you know, but I honestly don't, you know, and I don't have, I don't, for my mental health, you know, and that's why, like, Jenny, my friend from high school, I haven't talked to her since, you know, I didn't see her. I didn't go to we had a 30-year reunion, I think. Yeah. Because I graduated in 1980. It should be 40-year reunion this year, honestly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were having something, and it was right at a time when I was traveling like all the time, and I was friends with this girl, one of my classmates, and they didn't even tell me about it. And I'm like, I would have loved to go to that, because it was at a time when I separated from my husband, he wouldn't like want me to go anywhere, and I would always ask him, and I would always, you know, be the obedient wife and do what he never wanted me to go anywhere or do anything. And he never would take me anywhere or do anything. But when we split up, that's when I went to Niagara Falls with my sister-in-law, and we went over to the Canada side. And that's when I first used my passport that he said we'll go on a cruise for our 25th wedding anniversary, which was 2011. We didn't go anywhere. But anyways, yeah. And then I was friends with her on Facebook, and like, she didn't even tell, I'm like, why the heck am I? So like, I unfriended her. I'm like, forget you, you know, like, gee, thanks for telling me. I find out about it afterwards. And I'm just like, wouldn't the purpose be of doing a reunion, you know, if you're in charge of it, to contact everybody in the class and tell them when and where it is? And I'm just like, and so, yeah. And so I'm not even like really, you know, and that Frank person who was so ugly, I wasn't even, they're not, you know, Facebook friends are not real friends. Honestly, some of them are my real friends, but you know, and the MAGA friends I have, the Trump supporter friends I have that know me, they don't say ugly things like that to me. Now, Linda was the exception, because she's just really, yeah. I need to pray. I will keep praying for Linda. Honestly, it's sad. They're sad and fearful, and that's what I feel. One out was fear. I think a lot of people were afraid he was going to do, and they were saying, just like that, Frank said to me, that Harris is going to start World War III, and they believed him. You know, and they're like, oh, so we have to pray for it. And they're afraid of doing. When I last went out to canvass, you guys, people would not tell us who they were voting for. Hillary was, I always let the person with me. You're probably surprised at that, because I seem to be able to talk a lot fine, but meeting new people, I'm much more shy, you know? And so I let the other person talk, and Hillary would be, well, if you don't mind saying, would you tell us who you voted for? And we're going to just like independent people. We're not knocking on Republican doors. It's either, you know, independent or doesn't say, or, you know, some other party, not Republican, Democrats, and they have the thing if they sent in their ballot yet. So murder would be impeachable. Oh, he threatened it. He shouldn't be able to run. A felon shouldn't be able to run. They said on The View, now they need to take that little box off of all the applications for work and all of that say, have you been convicted of a felony? It doesn't matter anymore. The highest, job in the land, and he can do it as a felon. It's ridiculous. Five watching. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. So, yeah, I'm going to keep speaking out, keep being informed. I need to cut back on my news watching now, though. I can't. I've watched so much stuff and news and in the past month, gosh, than I have in probably like the whole last year, and I am going to have to like balance it out to be like, I want to stay informed, and not have my head in the sand, which like I really did, when I was bringing up my kids and stuff. I was just like, I would just hear that Dole was going to be at the Air Force Base, and I go over the Air Force Base with my little kids and my baby. And then the Secret Service picked me out of the crowd and said, will you stand behind him? That's why I'm looking at whoever's standing behind Trump and whoever's standing behind Harris. And I'm like, yeah, they're like me. They got picked out of the crowd. And you can see like Trump will have the token, Black person, and then a lot of women and stuff standing behind him. And I'm like, yeah, they specifically picked him out so they would be standing behind him when he's on, and back then, I don't know, it wasn't YouTube. That was 19. Well, yeah, it wasn't very much, if it was anything. When did YouTube start? I don't know. This was 96 with Dole. I might have been on the news too. I don't know. I don't remember that if I was. But no, I'm praying for Liz Cheney's safety. But he shouldn't even be able to say that. It's awful. Awful, 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 awful. Let me say another poem. Oh, you know what I want to say? I know what I'm going to say. It's called Fishing with Fire. It's on page 54. I started this one off with, so in my poems are a lot of lyrics from songs. And the one I just said, The Haunting, has a line from Amazing Grace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. But sometimes I put in a quote from a book or a meme or something. And this one starts out with a quote from a historian. And that quote is, Well-behaved women seldom make history. So perhaps there's hope for me. I may be a bitch, but at least I'm honest. But really, some don't know that part of me at all. Like a moth to the flame, I'm drawn to people who push me to the limit. Even the nicest people have theirs. Why does that man call you Sue B? She said to me. I don't know. Must be because she's sweet, he said. He didn't know me very well. But you catch more flies with honey. The Pharisees don't catch many with their vinegar. Don't let yourself get bitter. Don't let the fire die or Satan blow out that light. Those flies and fish will never bite until you have the bait that's right. Do you have something they'll long for? I smile because I'm happy. Jesus delivered me. Peace, joy, love, security, confidence, fearlessness, purity. More heart, less attack. Do you have the thing they lack? More of him, less of me. Do you have a story? Tell it. Do you have a match? Strike it. Walk through the fire, burn away the darkness, ignite a soul. Set the world on fire. Let it burn, 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 burn. That's on page 54. So, yeah, I also get concerned about I'm concerned about his health, his physical health and his mental health. I really don't see him lasting 4 years. I think that JD Vance will end up being the president because he might pass. But I guess it clearly doesn't matter. You know, he says the craziest and does the craziest thing. Did you see what he did with a microphone at that hump? That was obscene. And they don't say anything. I'm just like, really? I mean, it's like the Christian right would be, you know, Satan could be pro-life, say he's pro-life, and they would vote for him. We're voting for Christian values. Do you know the Bible says even Satan himself disguises himself as an angel of light? Yeah. I found this person's Facebook from the Progressive Progressive Christianity. Also, a site I like is Sad Jesus. I think I've shared it on here before. It's on Facebook. And I like Nadia Bolz-Weber. So Sad Jesus just shared Nadia Bolz-Weber's post. Sad Jesus says, saddened by the encroaching darkness, sad Jesus afflicts the comfortable and comforts the afflicted. And it's been around, you know, he's been speaking out on the Christian nationalism and stuff. Like, I'm a Christian against Christian nationalism, and that's the cult of Trump. And that's the cult I was in. So that's why I feel like I have a special place to speak to it, because I was there. I was in it. But I was never for Trump. When Trump came on the scene, I was like, no. So Nadia Boltz-Weber is she's a pastor here. She used to be pastor of the House for Saints and Sinners. I've never been able to find that church. I've looked for it a couple of times, and I'm not sure if it exists anymore, really. I haven't been able to find it. It's in Denver, and I wanted to visit that church when I first came here. But she's not the pastor anymore. They have a new pastor. But she wrote this prayer. Dear God, you're going to need to help out today. If people in my life need comfort and reassurance, it can't really come from me today because I'm in need of the same. I just can't blow sunshine up anyone's. She says it like it is today, Lord. So I ask that you send what they need, please. If it is possible to remind us that millions of human beings throughout history have lived through worse political situations and still managed to make art and find joy and share meals and resist despair, could you do that for us, please? And then keep guiding us towards their wisdom. In fact, cover us all in a wisdom that is not available in memes and hot takes, and help us remember to drink some water today. In other words, have mercy upon us. Amen. That's the picture. But yeah. So I feel like all I've been through, you guys, has made me tough. And even I oftentimes get to I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe, even if it's not popular with other people. And I even said to my friend, I'm not in touch with this friend at the Presbyterian church I was friends with, because I said, I told her about the book I read, Raising Hell, and told her about I wasn't believing in hell anymore. And she said, you were treading on dangerous territory. And it's like later I thought, I was like, I know her background, like her I think her father or her grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher. And so I'm like, why would you say, I felt like saying to her, you're in the Presbyterian church now. Presbyterians, like Baptists, don't believe you can lose your health. So don't be throwing that, it was like the fear mongering of the MAGA people were throwing at me. And that reminds me, I wanted to share with you the God is Gray channel, because she has an awesome video on the connection, and it's from the 1 John 4, verse 18. About there's no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has to do with torment. And those who fear have not been made perfect in love. Let me see. And she has one on the pro. Let me just share the whole channel, and then I'll share the specific video on the specific video on the fear and hate connection. Wait, nope, that's the sad Jesus. Wait a second. There we go. But it's very good. So I had another sort of off the wall character in here on Monday, and one of my other moderators was here, Anthony, so I had him block him, and he's trying to say that Kamala, they just come in here and bring up crazy stuff. Kamala doesn't have any hasn't prosecuted anybody. It was kind of funny. I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of been a situation with some of the other people that I've had to block that I already had an inkling because of some of the strange things they would say in the comments. And then this guy went to look at his channel, and he had a bizarre video about circumcision, and women need to apologize to men because they take men's foreskins and make aging cream or something. And it was just like bizarre stuff. And then he says this in my channel, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, oh, I don't have to block you myself. Anthony's here. So, yeah, it's been wild. But it's been interesting. And as I said earlier, I don't have any regrets. I'm glad I started speaking up. If I had not, first off, I think I'd still be depressed, right? If I hadn't started speaking up on my channel, I'd still be depressed. My channel is like 11,000 views in the last 28 days. My watch time, but a lot of that has to do with shorts too. So, but my watch time is going up. It is going up slowly, but the shorts don't count on the watch time. But anyways, I probably would, if I hadn't started speaking up, I think I'd still be depressed. And then because Trump won, I'd be like spiraling down the drain now. And so speaking up really brought me out of the anxiety and depression. And even like, I guess it was September when I tried to go on Wellbutrin, and it wasn't helping me. It was starting to make me worse, I felt like. And then I didn't, so I went off of it. So anyways, and I'm not on an antidepressant right now. So, and although I'm disappointed, I feel like still praying, trusting God. I like listening to all these. I've been listening to Mary Trump on Twitter, and I subscribe to her YouTube also. And Mary, it's an interesting, I'd like to read her book. Have you read her book, Brenda? Mary Trump's books, any of Mary Trump's books? She's an atheist. So I feel like, there's always more people you can pray for. And I feel like it really does make a difference. So let me see if I can find the specific. Oh, dang it. I didn't mean to close that. I did not mean to close that. And God is Gray is where I found out about the Raising Hell book too. Let's see. Oh, Jesus and John Wayne. Okay. I heard about that girl. Okay, I found it. Fear and Love. I've not kept up on her. She stopped doing her channel, and her most recent videos were like 2 years ago, and I haven't watched any of her recent, but I heard of that Jesus and John Wayne book. Interesting. But I thought this was a very good video. And that's why I was talking about that. And I meant to share this link on Monday because that's what I was talking about. And yeah. And there's still, and now really, I feel like a lot of the MAGA was scared for us to get in, and Trump was fear mongering, and about the immigrants and World War III and blah 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 blah. But now, and I feel like more rightly so, the liberals are afraid. Because he's actually said, he's actually said that we actually, I feel like, well, what I see is that whenever the MAGAs would talk to me, whether they come in my chat here or on Facebook or whatever, they, she's good. She knows him. And she calls him Donald because her last name is Trump too, so she calls him Donald. But they don't have any proof. They'll say she's a fascist and blah 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 blah, and this and that and the other thing, and she's going to start World War III. But they don't even have any. They don't have any receipts. But yet all these people and then Republicans who have worked with him and generals and, all these people that know him personally have said he's unfit. He said this about Hitler. He said that, so I'm finding that on our side, we have the receipts that he said this, and they're just like, oh, she's this, she's that, and she doesn't have any prosecutions. I'm like, and he's like wanting me to name him. It was like, Roy coming in here wanting me to call the sheriff in Yuma or whatever, the sheriff in wherever, and I was like, I don't really need to. That's one issue that you're going on about, but we have all this on Trump. Like, here, take this and go look into it. Go look into January 6th while you're at it. Go look into, what he was convicted of. Perfect peach hot tea with teddy bear toast spread. Peanut butter, honey, cinnamon, butter with crackers. That sounds good. Cookie cutter toast. When the children were small. Wonder whatever happened to that cookie cutter. Oh, I got rid of so many things that it was so hard to get rid of. And that's what I just started reading. Well, I started reading a little bit, but I read a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. And we're not, we're not going to storm the Capitol. We're not going to deny the election. The Bobart person got in Colorado. Sad. She's Christian now. She had her MAGA hat on. But anyways, in this book, Brene Brown was talking about, that she doesn't save anything. So it makes more meaningful. And it was the same with me. It made more meaningful what I did keep. But I had cookie cutters and I gave them, and I was just like, oh, what I remember making cookies with my little kids with these. And I was like, oh, I'm going to give them to the Goodwill. It's okay. They're just cookie cutters. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah. Yeah, definitely pray. Keep praying. And yeah. But the nice MAGA people just haven't said anything to me. They don't come to my page, and they don't come to my page and gloat, the ones that are nice, and that's why I just blocked Jenny, because I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna come over here and gloat and put that picture on your page and all that. So yeah, but we have to keep standing for what is right and keep, I'm glad I never canvassed before, because like I said, my kids were little, mostly. I would say when my kids were all in high school, my kids were all playing soccer. It was insane. When I was thinking I should get a job, and I'd say to my ex, I need to get a job, he'd say, you have a job. And and I did. I was at their soccer games. I was at their school. I was at their, dance, took them to music lessons, made them dinner about every night. We sat down at the table together. This is what my daughter, in the one in Philly, like, too bad they weren't enough people to turn the state of Pennsylvania, but I'm pretty sure maybe not her father-in-law. I don't know. They might have been. I know now. I know a couple of couples. I know 3 couples. And then, this was surprising. Someone at my church was telling me, she's like, yeah, our pastor married a same-sex couple, and one was a Democrat and one was a Republican. But that's the same as I don't understand. And they're stuck on, I guess, what their family was, or they're stuck on maybe one issue, like the abortion issue. I don't know, but I don't know how a gay person or even a woman or a black person can vote for him. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't like the cognitive dissonance. How do you live with it? How do you live with that cognitive dissonance? I don't know. I don't know. I could not do it. Most requested pack lunch for school. Yeah, I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to hang the cookies on the Christmas tree. You used to wrap them in saran wrap. Yeah. My mom said, yeah, you can hang them on the Christmas tree. But yeah, I know a few couples. Not not a lot. I don't know a lot of people, honestly. And you guys, I'm still healing. I'm still healing. Um, yeah, I really liked that song that I heard from Sarah Reeves when I first heard Sarah Reeves. It's called Get Back Your Fight. Um, but I was like, because she says, someday you're going to get back your fight. And I'm like, I need it now. I got to get back my fight now. But, I'm always in a hurry. And I'm always in a hurry. And I'm still stuck in that thing from my dad and from my ex. Like, you're not doing enough. Just like I would say to my ex, I need to get a job. And then he'd say, you have a job. And then at the end, he'd say, she won't get a job. And I'm like, you didn't want me to get a job, you idiot. But I'm always stuck in that thing. And I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. I need to do this. I need to do that. And always the guilt and the shame and the condemnation. And like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. I'm not, and that was like, I don't know which song I heard first, but I'm going to share Get Back Your Fight. But I'm like, I need to get it back now. But I'm getting back my fight. But another song she has is You Are More Than Enough. So I really love her music. So check that out afterwards. And then she has, let me share this on my, whoops. But I found I'm much better at keeping my boundaries where they need to be and not letting people bully me or walk all over me or disrespect me. I'm much better at keeping my boundaries if I let myself be angry and stay angry. So, but not being violent, but just expressing that, this is not right. And when you have that anger, you're supposed to look at it and say, okay, what is making me feel this way? And what do I do to work on this? What boundaries do I have? Another book that I'm reading right now is the book by Terry Cole, The High Functioning Codependent. So, and I'm going to Coda, but I couldn't go to Coda today because of the snow. Did you want to see the snow, Brenda? Do you guys have any snow yet? My arthritis in my hip is acting up. So like when I get up, it's like when I step on my right foot, I feel it. See? Someone walking their dog in the snow. See, that's why I do not want. If I got a pet, I'd get a cat in a litter box. But when we had dogs, we lived out in the country in Sunland, California, in the suburbs of Los Angeles, I guess you'd say. Our dogs ran like we didn't have to pick up their poop with a bag. Are you kidding me? We didn't even pick up their poop out of the yard. You know, they would go out in the there were fields like across from our house. A lot of open space. Like now, when I went back there, like this last June when I went to California, I went to my old neighborhood and I have a video up about it. And there's all houses built over there where we used to play in the open spaces and ride horseback and stuff. And there's all the houses that's all built up, and you can still have horses though, and there's still places to ride, but not as much space to ride as we had. And yeah. Speaking of that, you know what I thought? So my arthritis is right here in this hip. And it might be from when I broke my leg, because I broke this leg. Pretty sure it was this leg. But it was down here and I fractured it. And I did it I was horseback riding and the horse fell. And so I'm thinking, because this hip used to pop out when I was pregnant sometimes. And I was pregnant. My mom, I think I added it up once too. I don't remember what it is though now, but my mom added up how many years she was pregnant because she had 7 babies and I had 5 babies. So sometimes when I was pregnant, my hip would pop out. It was so painful. And later on, I wondered if it was because of that horseback riding accident I had. This is a funny story. I was 12 and we were riding in Handsome Dam, which is where we used to go ride. We'd go through the fields and then we'd go under there was a tunnel under the road, and then we'd go into Handsome Dam. And Louise's father had a rodeo over there too. And but we'd go riding over there and there was a river, and it was 2 days before Christmas too. 2 days before Christmas, not too cold, but I think I had a long sleeve shirt on, but not this is Southern California, so maybe it was 60, 50 degrees. I don't know. But we were in the river and the horses pooped, and Louise was on the horse that I usually rode. It was gray. He was a gray horse, a quarter horse, and his name was Traveler. And I was on Smokey, who was, I don't know if he was full bred quarter. She had like papers for some of their horses. They were full bred quarter horses. And, but not Smokey. And Smokey wasn't as well trained, this horse. And, he would lie down. That was pretty cool though. He was trained to lie down, but he wasn't well trained as far as, when you tell him to go, he goes. And when you tell him to stop, he stops. And that was a problem and why I broke my leg. So the horse, I don't remember whose horse it was, if it was Louise's horse or my horse, but one of our horses pooped in the river, right? And like we were 12, Louise was 11, and because she was a year younger than me. And we start on the horses, following the horses poop down the river. And that's what we were doing. And so afterwards, I was kind of embarrassed to tell the story about it. But anyways, we got to this point where it's Handsome Dam. And Handsome Dam, by the way, which I was going to tell you, is a place where they had the equestrian part of the Olympics when it was in Los Angeles, Handsome Dam. So that's where I used to horseback ride, where they had the equestrian part of the Olympics. And so we're going down the river, we're following the horses poop, and unbeknownst to us, really, the horses were racing each other, really. They were racing each other, and we're following the poop going down the river. And then we come to this place where there's the dam, the cement like this, and it goes up like that. And there were trees and branches, and there wasn't room really, And Louise goes on Traveler to go around, right? And my horse and I was trying to decide what to do. My horse just plows right through, just goes right through. And I'm like, I tell you. And so then the horse slipped on the cement, and we're up against this cement and fell on my leg. And I'm in the river and I'm all wet. And my mom was at the hairdresser's or somewhere. My mom was somewhere, I don't know. And I had to ride, my leg was broken. 45 months. You were pregnant 3.75 years of your life, 45 months. Oh, thank you for figuring that out for me. Yeah, I always use my calculator on my phone. I could have figured it out. But thank you. So yeah. So I fell. I'm in the river. I'm sopping wet. Louise is trying to help me. She's like, well, let's see if there's any cuts or any. Let's look at it. We got somebody to help me, and it was so. Oh gosh, I remember it was so. We had to get out of like Handsome Dam, and then I ended up at the. I remember it was It was someone like Louise knew. It was this kid's house. Billy Hamburger or something. I ended up at this kid's house who lived on McBroom, which was the street, and it was a dirt road. That's why it was called McBroom, I think. I don't know. But there were some movie stars that lived around us, that lived in Sunland. One was Danny Yamaguchi. I never saw them, but I heard, oh, he lives over there, I never saw him like at the store or whatever. But anyways, so it was said. Because it's not that far into Los Angeles. And they filmed some stuff. One time they filmed The Bionic Woman. They filmed Fantasy Island at Louise's dad's rodeo, at the rodeo. And if you ever seen the episode where they're at a rodeo, it's probably the one that was filmed at a rodeo, because I don't know that there's that many episodes. Even the Bionic Woman too. Bionic Woman. So I met her, Lindsay Lohan. Not Lindsay Lohan. Her name's Lindsay Wagner. That's it. The other Lindsay. She was really nice. So anyways, so I ended up at this kid's house, and then called my dad, and then my dad came and picked me up, and I was all wet, and I think I got a cold. I caught a cold too, because I fell in the river and it was cold. But it was hard because my leg hurt because it was broken. It ended up being broken. But I sat on the gurney too at the hospital in the emergency room for, gosh, a long time with my mom. And my mom had done that before with my brother, I think, when he was in a motorcycle accident. And and then they x-rayed my leg, and they said, and I didn't think it was broken. I think it was kind of numb because it was in the cold water, and I don't remember a whole lot about it. But I remember it started hurting later. But yeah, fun times. I didn't know I was ADD either. I don't think my mom ever suspected it either. But maybe should have known. One time I fell. I was climbing to my closet and I fell and I cut my leg. It's like on the back of my leg, my buttocks, on this fancy handle we had on our closet doors. And then had to go to the emergency room for that. So yeah, I was an active kid. And then when Ian, my third child, was a baby, I was on rollerblades for the first time and going down a hill, and I wanted to stop. I was scared. I was scared to just, go down the hill fast, and I wanted to stop. So I went back. I fell back on purpose, but then I broke my wrist. So yeah. Fun times, fun times. So yeah, that's not so bad, but I'm thinking that the arthritis in my hip is from when I broke my leg. So yeah, let me do another poem. Let me see if I can find, let's see. I don't have my, let me read my love poem off of my website. Let me share my website with you. And oh, my story about my dad that I said in my devotion today. That is on my blog. But here's my website. There's a link to my blog on my website. But the story about the snow, and it's why I love snow so much. And so I kind of feel like the snow was a gift. It was nice, and I was reading my book. So I couldn't go to Coda. I was reading Brene Brown's book and watching the snow fall today. And it's so beautiful and peaceful. So, yeah. Red's website. And you guys, I'm needing to make more time for my writing. I need to take in this laptop and get it fixed. And I'm needing to, like it says, my email's full. I have too many emails, so I'm having to go through those and delete those. I need to sort out my writing on my computer. I need to sort out my photos and delete a lot of photos so I have more room on my computer. And I need to do all that so I can be writing on my computer. It will just make it easier. And my external hard drive, I'm probably going to try and get that, see if I can get that restored. Because it has a lot of things. I'll see if I can get it restored. Because it has a lot of my writing on it. It has a lot of photos. It has I don't have a copy of this anymore on my computer anymore because it was on that hard drive and that hard drive is damaged. So yeah, I have stuff to do, y'all. I have stuff to do. I got a cherry cola. Let me put the link to my blog in my chat too. Gonna do that. Let me see. So it's cold. Yeah, it's been cold today, especially cold today. It is 26 now. It's snowing again. It says it's snowing again. Oh, 98 calories and you'll close your move ring. I'm not closing my move ring today, I guess. Maybe I'll do some yoga. You know what I like to do is try anyway. I haven't really done it before, is turn on one of those yoga channels and just do some yoga right here in my cozy living room, right here in my cozy apartment. I'm a homebody. I really am. I don't mind staying home. I don't mind at all, honestly, especially when it's like this out. It was scary to drive in this, but where I worked at the pool was really close. So I went in that day. I remember it was just this one time when it snowed really bad like this. And then someone who was going to work at 5:15 a.m., she lives far, away, farther away, and I would have to get on the highway. So I went in for her. But it was still scary because I slid a little bit in the snow. My puzzle's coming apart. Not good. I'm putting my puzzle back together. Wait. This puzzle has been sitting here too long. Need to finish it. It's my wolf puzzle. Okay. I'm going to say my love poem. Cause that's what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Oh, that's another story I could tell you guys. I met Dionne Warwick. So Louise's mom, I'm not making this up, y'all. Louise's mom was like a fortune teller to the stars. Like she was a card reader and all that. And I met Dionne Warwick, Goldie Hawn, Eddie Albert, if you remember him from Green Acres is the place to be. Eddie Albert, Rosemary Stack, who was Robert Stack's wife. Robert Stack was the one who did Unsolved Mysteries. This was back in the 70s. I could have met Goldie Hawn's daughter and son, who was, you know who Goldie Hawn's son is, daughter is. She's an actress too, and I can't think of her name. She was in How to Lose a Guy in 90 Days, and I can't think of her name, but she used to go to, she's a little bit younger than us, and she used to go over there, and like one day we were playing and we didn't go in the house, and I could have met Goldie Hawn's daughter and son, but we didn't go in the house and say hi to them. But anyways, I'm like, sorry, like we could go back in time. It's not a big deal. But I met Goldie. She's really nice. But went to Dionne Warwick's house, went to Disney with her son, Damon. They were all D's. I only met her one son. I think she has two sons. And went swimming in her pool. We went to Disneyland, and the limousine. It was fun. And Dionne Warwick's son used to go riding at Louise's, and yeah, interesting place to live, LA. Hi, Arnie. Hi, how are you? I was kind of commiserating, but I'm still going. I'm still woke, still praying. I was about to say my love poem. Let me say that. because I was singing that Dionne Warwick song. What the world needs now. She was really nice too, Dionne Warwick. She has a nice pool. I swam in the same pool Whitney Houston's her niece swam in. That 4-letter word. It's never in vain, it all matters. No matter how small an act, a kind word, a smile, a hug, a cup of cold water. I have it in a photograph, a letter, a scrap of paper, a meal, a memory, a bowl of chili. Chicken salad, peach ice cream, and red velvet cupcakes, chocolate and roses. It speaks your language. It's a gift, a movie, a lightsaber, a new hope. It's a verb, it's a noun, it's an adjective, it's profound. It's encouragement and motivation. It's harder than you thought, yet it makes everything easier. Like E.T., it phones home. It's more wonderful than you knew and worth everything you put in. It hangs on, it never quits, even if you let go of it. It can hurt sometimes. It can't stay mad. It works and tries. It bleeds and cries and doesn't lie. It apologizes, gives and forgives. It's the only thing we take with us when we die. Yet it makes us feel alive. It always hopes, believes, trusts. It never fails. And even if you're away a while, it waits for you to come home. Kate Huston, that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, Kate and Oliver. Those are Goldie's kids. And they used to play at Louise's when she'd do her reading or whatever with Goldie. So that was interesting. And I met her like more than once. And like she remembered me. The next time I went there, the following year, the following summer when I went there, she was like, "Oh, how have you been?" And I was like, "Goldie Hawn remembers me." I was like 13 then, 13. I should find those pictures. They're somewhere on my phone too. I got so many. I need to like go through all my pictures and like delete all my like pictures of food and all of that. Because I think I took a picture. I had the old-fashioned picture. I took a picture of the picture. Tired and had gloomy weather the last few days. We have snow and it's beautiful and I love snow. I'm from Southern California and South Florida and lived in Middle Georgia for 32 years. So that's why I like snow. And especially in Denver, like this probably won't even stay around a while. It probably won't even stay around long, especially since it's November 6th. It's not gonna stay around. And sometimes they don't, they don't have snow at Christmas still. It's not really a lot of snow around all the time, like all winter long. And I found it's that way like in St. Louis area. It's in Philly too. Like usually I go to Philly at Christmas, there's usually no snow. E.T. Yeah, I like that movie. And I just kind of laughed because I have a blog post and it's below my, let me see if I can find the specific blog post. It's about He Loves You So Much. And it's the story I was talking about my dad and me telling him he made a mistake because he let this person move in with him. And she ended up getting him arrested for kidnapping because he drove away with her baby and because she was stopped at the CVS to get her stuff for her contact lenses. And then he drives off and she calls the cops. And my 80-year-old dad, I don't know, however old he was in 2010, 80 something, gets arrested for the first time for kidnapping and goes to jail. Let me see, how old was he? 2010 minus 1928. He was 82. But I told the story in the devotion today. Okay, so this is a specific story. The snow. He loves you so much. So that's why I love snow so much. And I was reminded too, and I just realized this too, you guys, that because I was like, I need a break from all this election news and stuff. And I think it was the day before the election, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking it was Sunday. And I needed a break from watching all the stuff I was watching about the election and stuff. And Turn On Your Heart Light. Yeah, I remember that song. So I was watching this movie with Rosie O'Donnell, and it's called Wide Awake. It's really a cute movie too. I'll drop the link to it. And it's about this little boy in Catholic school, and his grandfather has passed, and he's searching for God. And in one scene, and he's wanting it to snow too, and he's in Philly, and I'd forgotten about that too. He's in the Philly area too, and so him and his friends are talking. It's supposed to snow. CNN said it's supposed to snow, and it doesn't snow, and he's searching for God. So when he's doing these different things, like he's trying Hindu meditation, and he's like, and he is like trying to fast on Thanksgiving. He's like, I got hungry in the middle of the night. The 6 hours count? And he's asking, and Rosie O'Donnell plays a nun. This is his teacher. He's like, does 6 hours count? And she's like, yeah, it counts. And so he's just like exploring these different things, and he tries to get his mom and dad to take him to Rome because he wants to meet the Pope. And he's searching for God. And he says to Rosie O'Donnell, "Is like, is there something wrong? Am I doing something wrong?" And she's like, "No, you're not at all." And she said, a lot of people, a lot older than you do that. They just don't do it, when they're in the 5th grade. But in one scene, he's scared because his grandfather has cancer, and his grandfather's dying, and he's just going, well, how do you know? He's like, when I'll be okay. When I get to God, I'll be okay. And he's like, how do you know? And he says, and his grandfather's explanation is like, because of the snow. And he loves it's such a touching little story. And I'm just like, I loved snow anyways. And then when I saw that in that scene, I was like, and it's one of the signs, like things start happening and that make him be, and he's like, God, I need you to show me something. And like, he runs into his parents' room. Did you see anything? And he runs to his sister and he's like, did you see it? And his sister is, I think it's Julia Stiles, the one in 10 Things I Hate About You. And she's just like, oh, go away, Runt, And it's a cute movie. I'll drop the link. And I think it's free. It was free. I think, no, I don't think it was free. I think I paid for that one. I watched Ella Enchanted yesterday is what I watched yesterday. That was free. That's a good one too. Um, but it's such a cute movie, and the thing about the snow, and I just love snow. I love snow. And I'm for being positive still. I'm for being optimistic. Whenever I'm pessimistic, I get into trouble, and that's when I really get angry too and cynical and say things I don't mean. Like, I've said things to my oldest daughter that I shouldn't have said, but I was just like cynical and mean and like, you're never going to talk to me again, you know, and like, have a nice life. And I should have never said that. That was awful. So now I'm trying to be positive, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. At least I'll be happy now, just like I'm glad I was optimistic before the election, because what was the point of being miserable and going, shoot, it's so close, she's gonna lose. What was the point? What would be the point of that? It's just being miserable. I choose to be, and I watched the guy at Lawrence on MSNBC, and he was like, I choose hope. You would like to you haven't experienced snow? Really? Are you from Florida, Elsa? It's so beautiful and peaceful when it's falling down. It's just nice. So, and this movie is by M. Night Shyamalan. He's the famous. He does like those creepy kind of not like really scary thriller movies, but he does kind of I think they're sometimes Twilight Zone, Twilight Zone-ish movies, and movies about faith. He's done other movies about faith that I haven't seen in a while. But anyways, here's the Wide Awake trailer. Oh, The Christmas Story 2. I think I've seen that. What is that one about? I've seen that one? The Christmas Story 2. I like The Christmas with the Cranks. But yeah, I think I had to pay for but it was just so cool that I just watched that. And then of course it snows right after they do that flashback scene where his grandfather's talking about, I'm gonna be okay, I'm just gonna go to God, or are you scared? And then he says too at the end of their conversation, they talk about the snow, and he's like, I thought it was ice crystal, he's like, where'd you hear that? And he's like, science class. But then he's like, I'm scared, can I cry now? And he hugs him, and it's just like so sweet. But in the end, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. Watch the movie. In the end, he finds out that his grandfather's okay, and it's just a really, really cute movie. And the change in the trees, it's so pretty. Yeah. I've almost gone 2 hours. I think I'm gonna pray for y'all and let you go. Let me see. I'm sad about how it turned out, but I am kind of glad it's over. But we need to be informed and be involved, vote, and I'm going to be aware of what's going on now and not be, because you guys, I honestly just thought like, oh, great, he did that January 6th thing. He can't run. I was honestly astonished. I was honestly astonished. I should have remained a Republican and then voted in the primaries. I've never, ever done that. I was not even aware of what was going on. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, how could they, you guys, it's unbelievable. And it's a cult. I feel like that's why they got, and it's like stuff that's biblical, stuff that's in the Bible. And you guys, another thing, this whole evangelical movement, that is in the Bible. Many will fall away. And it blew my mind because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm running away from God. I'm leaving. And there's this whole movement. I found out #evangelical. And I'm like, this is what it says in the Bible. It says that in the Bible too. Many will fall away and be like, I'm done with Christianity. But see, then I came to believe in reading Raising Hell that all will be saved, and that there was a bunch of Christians that have always believed that. They're called universal Christians, like William Barclay, the devotion I used to read every day. Universal Christians, all will be saved. There's many places in the Bible where it says, as one man died, so one man will. There's so many verses. But anyways, one man died for all. There's so many alls in the Bible. All means all mankind. And every knee shall bow and every tongue confess. And that's how they say, you have to be saved. And it just says every knee will bow and every tongue shall confess. There's still a judgment, and that's what Jesus was talking about, Gehenna. But it's not eternal conscious torment. Catholic Church made that up. Speaking of the Catholic Church, that's what the little boy goes to Catholic school in the movie, but it's cute. Okay, making a prayer list. I'm going to pray for Liz Cheney. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dear Lord, thank you for these followers. I pray that you bless them and be with them. Lord, I pray you be with Brenda and her husband, and bless her children and her grandchildren. And thank you for her. I pray you be with Elsa. Be with her, keep her safe, and bless her children and her fur babies. And thank you for her being here. I pray you bless Arnie. Bless his cats and bless his friends and family, and be with him. Lord, we pray for this country, Lord. I pray for all MAGAs that they would come to see the truth, Lord. I pray that people would wake up, Lord. Whatever be your will, Lord. I don't know what's happening and where we are in the timeline, Lord, but we trust you. We trust you to take care of us and watch over us and guide us, Lord. Help us just to keep in touch with you and keep in touch with what's going on in the world, Lord. Help us to speak out about injustice and to speak our truth. Help us to love others, to be kind to others. Help us to stand against political violence and any sort of violence, Lord. Help us to speak out for rights for all people, Lord, for people of color, for people, LGBTQ people, and immigrants. Let us stand up for all people, Lord, and love all people. And I pray that you would protect Liz Cheney, put as your protection around her, Lord. Protect all of those that Trump would seek to exact vengeance upon, Lord, that you would keep him from doing that, Lord. But also that you would have his followers see him for who he truly is, Lord. Help take the blinders off. Help them to see the truth, Lord. And just help us to be steadfast and standing up for what we believe in, Lord. I pray about the war in Ukraine, Lord. I pray that you would help them, Lord. I pray that there would be peace, Lord, that you would comfort those people right now. And I pray for the people in the Middle East also, Lord, that you give the leaders wisdom. I pray that that Trump would not back out of NATO, that would be bad, Lord. Just help us, Lord, to be informed and to keep praying and keep acting. Lord, I pray for my children. I pray that you protect them and bless them and be with them. Especially that my youngest in the military who lives in Texas, Lord, that you would keep her safe, Lord. That that if she needs to get out of the Air Force, that she would get out of the Air Force. Thank you for my children, Lord. I thank you for this country, Lord. I pray that you would help us now, please. Help us to continue to be active. Help us not to despair, Lord. All those that wanted Kamala to win and we're hopeful that she would win, Lord. Help us. Help us to stay strong. Help us to not despair. Help us to not give up. Please, Lord, help us to be strong. Please encourage us. I pray for Linda. I pray for Frank. I pray for Jenny. I pray for Tammy. All the megas that I've had words with, Lord, the people I've had to block and unmoderate from my channel. I pray you bless them. I pray that they would, again, see Trump for what he really is, that they would wake up and realize that he's not what they think he is. And we pray all these things in Jesus' name, amen. Oh, almost to 2 hours. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And that's all. Don't say that no one cares for you, because I do and God does too. Don't forget to pray for Red, because Red is praying for you. Bye. I will see you on Friday for dinner with Red. Maybe I'll order something. Maybe I'll DoorDash something. I don't know. The snow will probably be melted though. Maybe I'll go get something. I still grill in the snow sometimes. Maybe I'll grill. Well, tune in on Friday and see what Red is having for dinner. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks, Brenda. Thanks, Arnie. Bye. Thanks, Elsa.